Hey guys, Kev here, and I wanted to rip through a disassembly on the Divo chaser. So this is a prototype. If you haven't seen my video unboxing them, you can go check that out. But basically, I just wanted to take one apart, show you guys the inside, and then I just want to see how the skiffs go in as usual. But yeah, I'm loving this knife. So far, changes-wise, there's really not much. We might look at making the clip a hair less tight, but I think it's pretty close to perfect on the clip. You can flick this. You just have to push with your finger a little bit, and it's pretty easy to flick. This one's actually the hardest for me to flick. You would think it would be the Stonewash, but I can really fire that. So maybe I just have some oil on this blade or something. I don't know. But the whole idea behind this knife design was, I remembered after the video, actually, I wanted to have a flipper only model. I just wanted to have a flipper knife. You don't see a lot of that anymore. And we just thought it would be cool. And then Colin came up with this really sick design. I also wanted to do a spearfoot blade shape because Colin has done a lot of these type blade shapes with his own designs, but we've never done one with Divo. So I thought it would be cool to incorporate that. And then he went to work, and this is what he came up with, and it's, in my opinion, it's fantastic. So let's take a look here. It's a unique pivot design. So you have kind of a filler tab, right? It's kind of like a filler tab for the pivot. And then there's your pivot screw. And then that's what it looks like underneath. So it's captive. That is very interesting, actually. So we're going to have to take it apart on this side because I reversed the clip, obviously. If you saw my video, you can see what it looks like stock, where you have a clean show side like this. I think that looks sick. So we just need to weasel this out. Or do we? I don't know if we need to actually do any of that. Let's just see what comes apart. Okay. Yeah, maybe we got to do that. Let's see. This should just come out. Should just be able to work the clip out. Maybe it kind of locked in there a little bit. Don't really want to use a pry, but I might have to, just to get a little leverage. There it goes. Hopefully I didn't bend it at all, but you can adjust these if you need to. They are titanium. Clip goes in with a little pin as well. That's why it was kind of nice and stuck in there. So let's see now what happens. We might need to get that filler tab out because that filler tab has a barrel on it. So it's just kind of stuck. See that? That can come through. So I can get the edge of it. Close it again. Just trying to be careful here. This is a barrel that's, there it goes. Just had to get in place. So that's the filler tab is actually connected to a barrel. So very interesting design in my opinion. Also keeps things kind of simple too, doesn't it? Let's get some alcohol in here. And then we'll take a look at the hardware. But there you go. I mean, it's literally just the lock bar. So this is what you call an inset liner lock. A nested liner lock is where the liners are hidden, which is nice. And then an inset liner lock is where it's just a lock bar that is inset into the handle, kind of like the mash. This one's a little bit more so because it's literally just the lock bar. The mash has like a little piece down here as well that mounts the clip, but that is not happening on this one. And of course, this piece right here is stainless steel, but you have really good weight relief because, I mean, look, milling pocket here, and then tons of milling over here. And then you have an internal stop pin, which we've been trying to get Kui to do one of those for a while. And they've always switched our designs around to avoid it for some reason. I don't know, what is that, oil in there? So here is the pivot. Again, very interesting look. I assume this is just a fix tightly on there. I don't think that's milled. But yeah, lots of oil there. So they got oil all over this thing. So let us clean this out. Need a little bit more alcohol. It's pretty late here, so I'm trying to just get this done. Let's see if the T8 fits in there. It might. It didn't quite go all the way in, so I might just grab one of these guys right here. See if I can't get that out. Is that oil or is that might be the glue or something that's holding it to this thing. Although no, it's at the end of that. Yeah, that's glue. That's a type of glue they're using to Loctite this to that. There's a screw on the end of this. Again, I mean, if you look at it, it's kind of got very similar to the filler tab. Just, I think it's just cool and different. And, you know, sometimes it's nice to be a little different. Oh, they finally did it. We've been asking now. So we have multiple models that are in progress, prototyping, stuff like that. And we started asking for pass-through D10 holes. So this is a pass-through D10 hole. This is something you'll see from Riot. And the reason we wanted to do this is because I've noticed that it's better. You have less of a chance of having issues with detent like fluctuating, and you have less of a chance of detent lash, and you can't get buildup in the detent hole because you have a pass through, so the gunk just goes through, right? So that's why we wanted to start doing that. So a lot of our new models should have that as we move forward, which is really cool. So I'm glad they're doing that kind of stuff for us that we asked. So here's the pivot screw. It's got a little bit of a larger head diameter than the clip screw. That's how you could tell if you were taking one apart or whatever. But a lot of these parts would interchange. Like I'm sure you could take this pivot filler tab thing and probably, yep, it would fit right in there. Not that it would screw in, but all right, I'll stop ogling about the design. So I'm just going to pop this out and probably flip it over. Yep, flip that over so we get a fresh side. They're nicely oiled, so that's good. Don't need to clean that. I did clean the blade. Just clean this. Here's a look at it. I've used this a little bit. I unboxed these last night, and then I carried this one today, so it got some use. But here's a look at the blade, how it's all cut out, the flipper tab. Nice and high flipper tab, so you're going to get really good leverage, which is kind of the idea there. All right, skiffs. Should be standard 5mm 1/16. We've been trying to be consistent with that so that it's easy for you guys. You can basically use the same bearings on every single one of our knives, except for the original growler. The V1 growler had 5mm 3/64 bearings. Otherwise, everything's the same. They're all this. So keep that in mind. All right, so the pivot is this one, and it would go in. Wait a second here, young Jimmy Bob. I think, because I'm left-handed, let's try something. I'm going to try to put the pivot on the other side and see if I can get a, let's see if I can get a clean show side as a lefty. That would be cool. All right, let's see what we can do. I'm probably missing something that will not let that happen, but we're going to give it a shot here. So I'm going to grab these. I'll just take the KPL Heavy right away, put it on the detent track. And again, I can go a little heavier on that if I want to, because I'm not going to have an issue with buildup in the detent hole, but I still am not crazy about having so much on there. So there we go. All right. And then the bearings will get their oil. Now you guys can pick up Skiff bearings at skiffworkshop.com. You can use my code LeftyEDC. That'll save you 10% on your order. And you can pick up bearings. You can pick up the finger bit. This is amazing for spinning pivots. And you can pick up the test fit card that will let you measure your bearings. So basically you just do this. 5 millimeter for the pivot, and the ball size is 1/16. And that's how you would measure your bearings. And then you just need to figure out the overall diameter, which is pretty easy to kind of figure out as you go. But yeah, and I have a link down below to Skiff if you want to check it out. And they also run the droppoint.com, which is a free newsletter. And every week they send out information on upcoming drops. So drops, pre-orders, all that kind of stuff. So you're up to date on what's coming in the knife world. Really cool stuff from Skiff Workshop. So let's drop this in there. And again, that link is below, and you can use my code. So let's see, anything I need to do? I don't think so. I thought that was going to keep trying to pop out on me. You little son of a gun. All right, let's see. That side's clean. Yep, obvious. Okay. See, can you stay on there? You just don't want to stay on there, do you? Let's just do this. Where's that? Clean it. Put a little bit of Cum Original on here. All right, let's do that. There we go. Now we're on. All right. And we'll just push this in. Should be pretty straightforward to put it together here. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this guy in like it's hot. By the way, all of these pieces and parts are titanium. Everything on this knife is titanium except for the inset lock bar and the blade. And probably the stop pin. And maybe the barrels. But you get my point. The filler tabs, the hardware, backspacer, all that stuff. Titanium. So I just want to do that so that I have this knife locked down a little bit here. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Don't think it's going to work the way I want it to, but I'm still gonna follow through. So this would go through here. See, that works, obviously. Dummy. So you can get the clip on, but I'm not going to be able to get the pivot. For some reason, it wants to go in the other way. So let me just confirm all that. Maybe I'm wrong, but so that's in, that's in, that's in. It's tightened down, but something's up with the pivot. Just doesn't want to. Oh, it just feels a little bit tight. So maybe I over tightened it, but let's see. No, it wasn't even tightened down. Almost centered. Yeah. It would have been cool if you could reverse it. I don't know why. What is different here? Let's just push this out. It should just pop out when I do this. Yeah, it's in there. Okay. Well, now it's looser, but I don't think it's going to be. Yeah. All right, let's take it apart again and see if I can't. See what happens when I flip it over. Hopefully it works the other way. Okay. Push this guy out. Let's see, that seems to really hold it together. All right. All right, that came right up. Could be the bearings, I guess. Nah, see how tight that is? I'm not missing a washer, am I? Now that's in there smooth. So let's just see. Could this be a certain way? I don't know why it would make a difference, you know? Yeah, it just gets kind of tight there. So let's just try it the other way. Obviously, we should test it, see if it's just something to do with the... Something to do with the orientation, or if maybe the just doesn't want to work with skiffs. Before I go assuming it's the orientation thing. Now I could always ask Kubi about it and see if there's any way they can, you know, change it. If that is the case, they could change it to work both ways, because that would just be cool if you could do that, right? So I had this set up lefty, so what does that mean? That means this was through here, right? And the clip was over here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Always spin the thread it counterclockwise first to catch that first thread, because otherwise you will have an issue threading. So it looks like we're dead centered. We have no lash. Oh, a D10 is great. Maybe a little play, so I'll check that. Oh. Okay, yeah, see, that's completely different. Let's just see if I was... Oh, shit, Kev. Oh, yeah, we were a little loose. All right, so let's see. Now we're centered. And we're tight. And we're dropping like it's hot. So, see if I can... Yeah, see, I can get it sometimes. It's interesting. I don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like I don't have the issue with the other versions. I don't know if this detent is stronger or if it's just oily. So let's just do a check here. That is pretty much tightened down. Okay, that feels fantastic. No play, no rock, swings. Okay, and of course it'll get better because there's skiffs. So let's take that off and then put it back in. Get that to full in. There you go. Tighten it down. Okay, that's tight. Centering looks good. Fires. No play, no rock. And good to go. Man. I almost feel like something's wrong when I disengage it because it's just so smooth. It just effortlessly glides out of the way. I don't think it's like... Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it just feels like it because it's so easy to disengage when you want to, which is perfect. All right, so let's get the glue out. We're gonna clean this. So this is where you gotta be careful. You wanna put this guy in, make sure it stays in there. Get the glue, get the alcohol, clean this. Oops, scratch it again because you're a crazy man. All right. I used a lot of this glue earlier. My kid broke her little lantern. I was fixing it. So let's see if we get anything here. Yep, a couple little threads. Centered. No play. Whoa. So I can go a little tighter. There we go. Still centered. No play, no rock. Great action. Man. Dudes. Look at that. Perfect. Nothing there. I mean, nothing. And it's, you can't even feel a little rock when you do this. And it fires out of there. And I'm really enjoying this knife. I gotta tell you, I am loving it. We got some really good feedback from the first video. Most people are loving it, excited about it. A couple people wanted us to add a fuller. I get that, but the idea behind this one was to do a flipper only knife, so it'd be kind of silly to then just change it to have a fuller. I know it would make it a little easier to flick, but I'm telling you, from the little bit I've handled all of these, it's pretty easy to flick already. And I really don't want to mess with the aesthetic. I think it looks great. You know, anybody with a Dremel and a little bit of skills, you could add your own if you really wanted to. I was trying to think of a way to do it without messing with it, but I just don't think we can. And then some people didn't like the, they either didn't like the way we did the filler tab and the pivot. They just thought it was weird, which I think that's cool. It's unique and different. That was the idea, right? And then there was a couple of people who just didn't like that it wasn't like straight here. But again, that was the idea. And it's funny because I'm OCD and I get it. Like that's where my OCD is like, oh, it should be. But like, that's how I ruin everything because I go OCD. And if you ever look at my thumbnails, you'll never just see like a disorganized look. It's always like everything's got to be like in some line or something. And that's not how art works, you know? So thank God for Colin because he will spot that kind of stuff. Or his natural artistic instinct is to have cool stuff that doesn't look exactly symmetric in every single way. Overall, the knife the lines work really well, right? But like that little detail, I just think it's cool. So, yeah, but any feedback you guys have, please let us know. We love that kind of stuff. We've implemented a lot of stuff people have suggested over the years. You know, it doesn't mean we're going to use everybody's suggestion, but, you know, we definitely have gotten some really good feedback in the past. The sharpening choil, I think it's good on this one, guys. We always, you know, screw that up somehow. It's never perfect, even when we think it is. This one looks good to me. The plunge looks like it ends like right here. And then you have a lot of space to sharpen. So hopefully we're getting better at that. But let me know if you see something that's messed up because we're not experts on that somehow. I always joke around like we need a sharpening choil employee. But yeah, this thing's ripping and the action's great. It's just going to break in beautifully on skiffs. No problem. I do wish I was able to flip it so I could have this side be clean. I don't really see why that wouldn't be possible, but maybe I just had to reverse the way I put it in, like the, you know, which flip-flop. I don't know, maybe I just didn't try the right one. So I'll do a little bit more testing and maybe talk to Kubi, because if we could do that, I think lefties would really appreciate that, including myself. So there you go. That is the Divo Knives Chaser, Disassembly, Reassembly, Skiff bearing swap, and a little overview and rambling of information. So let me know what you guys think down below. I love you guys. We appreciate you very much. All your support has been just amazing. We have a ton of stuff in the works, just waiting on stuff to come in, so bear with us. This one will probably be later in the year because we have to get some stuff done and get some money flowing, because we've been spending a lot on all those runs and we haven't seen any knives or sold any. So We will have these at Blade Show. So if you're there in Atlanta in June, please come by the table, 7DD. We will be there with prototypes and some of each knife we've released to sell. And that's it, guys. I love you. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll catch you later. Peace.